There are about 99% of filmmakers out there right now that keep on failing over and over and over again. For this video, we're going to talk about some things that filmmakers aren't doing that is causing them to fail time and time again. Without further talking, let's just dive right into it. So reason number one is a lot of filmmakers lack camera knowledge. They lack how to use their own cameras that they even own, or they lack knowing how to use different ecosystems. The reason why I say that is because in my freelance career with the various different types of jobs that I have gotten, not every job that I get contracted for, I'm bringing my FX6. Some jobs that I get contracted for, more of my production company jobs, when they contract me, sometimes they already have cameras that they're already using that they just want me to be an operator on. And I feel like as a filmmaker, a freelancer, it's very important to learn different ecosystems. I'm not saying you have to own them because you don't, but knowing the basics of them and how to operate them, I feel like is very important because there's a lot of filmmakers out there who don't even know how to operate their own camera. And that's the reason why you're failing the most. For my line of work, the three most popular camera choices, camera brands, have been Sony, Canon, and Blackmagic. Those are the top three that I have been using the most whenever I get contracted certain jobs. And that's why I feel like it's important as a freelancer to learn different camera ecosystems. You don't have to learn the ins and outs, but just learn the basics to get the camera rolling and to overall make the image look good when you need to make the image look good, when you're being contracted to do that. I posted a vlog where I got contracted to be a camera operator for a live streaming event, and the camera choices from the production company was Blackmagic Mini Ursas. Now I asked them, why did they hire me? Because I don't do a lot of live streaming, so I don't have a lot of live streaming under my belt. But their response was because I said in my message I operated a Blackmagic before, and that's the reason why they hired me, because they wanted someone who had the Blackmagic experience. They told me that they got emails sent from various different freelancers who told them that they have done similar projects before, but they just never used Blackmagic cameras. And they wanted someone who was familiar with the Blackmagic ecosystem. Again, I don't own a Blackmagic camera, but I previously did own the Pocket 4K years ago, and because of that, that is what got me hired, because I had the experience and I have the knowledge of the Blackmagic ecosystem. Blackmagic, out of all the camera ecosystems, is honestly the most easiest one to learn. They make their menu system very easy to learn. Now again, this isn't all the time, because most freelancers, including myself, we prefer to get contracted on jobs and just use our own equipment. I really don't want to use no one else's equipment, but I also don't want to pass up on some money if I have to use someone else's equipment. And I definitely don't want to be the day before the shoot scrolling on YouTube trying to figure out how to use a camera that I never used before. And it's not even just cameras, it's different camera gear in general. I feel like whatever niche it is that you do the most, you should have a basic understanding of the gear that is most common in that niche. So if you want to get into narrative films, but you maybe shoot a lot of weddings or events and you use autofocus glass, narrative films, they primarily use cinema glass. So you probably want to practice pulling focus on some cinema lenses. You probably want to practice using a follow focus system. You probably want to practice all the stuff that the narrative world uses versus the typical stuff that you may not use during a wedding or a corporate interview. Not saying you have to own any of that stuff, because I just got contracted again for a narrative film and I didn't own half the gear that we needed, but we rented it out and I knew already how to use all the gear that we needed. I didn't have to own it, but I just had to know how to use it. And that's why a lot of filmmakers fail, because these filmmakers are buying these expensive cameras, buying these new cameras, and they don't know a thing about their camera. They don't know all the tools that are built into camera that can help their workflow, help them on set. All right, so moving on to number two is going to be not being firm with your clients. This is personally a personal mistake for me personally that I have made over the years of my freelance career. And I'm not just talking about being firm on your pricing. No, I'm talking about being firm on what it is that is realistic that you can do and what's not realistic. And not being firm and straight up with them is something that can hurt you in the long run. Me personally, I had a client reach back out to me, and I love when clients reach back out to me. That lets me know that I did a good enough job for them to want to come back to me. But with this particular client, I filmed for them about a year ago, right when I got the FX6. And just like any other excited filmmaker, when they get a new piece of gear, they want to go and try it out. I didn't really care about anything else. I just wanted to use this camera and try it out. That was my mistake, because the client had a list of things that they wanted. It was an outdoor event, so they wanted drone aerial footage. I don't own a drone. They wanted photography. I don't own a photography camera. They wanted stabilization via gimbal. I don't own a gimbal. They wanted the footage to be edited and sent back within 48 hours. They also wanted 150 photos, both raw and edited. At that time, I was doing all my post-production on a 2012 MacBook Pro, which honestly is not ideal for any video editing at all. Not only that, I did this job for about $350 and it was about an hour and a half drive away from me. At that time, I was like, great, cool, let's do it. $350, I don't really care. I just want to use this camera. But because of that, because of me just being so impatient and wanting to get out there and film for my client, that client reached back out to me recently, a whole year later, and they want to do the same thing with the same budget. Now that I have the skills that I have, now that I have the knowledge that I have, now that my kit increased, I think at that time I only had like one key light and it was like an AMRAN 60D. Now my lighting kit has evolved, my camera kit has evolved, my lenses have evolved. Everything that I own now as a freelancer has evolved. So for $350, that is not something that I'm going to want to be doing. And I told them that. So I kindly told them, I said, hey, my prices have gone up and they have gone up a lot. Now I'm being firm with them and letting them know, hey, listen, I can do this job and I can do it a whole lot better than I did last year, but I need to be compensated and these are my prices and everything has gone up. And they try to wiggle me down about $600 and I said, no, I'm not taking it. I'm sorry. So just being firm with your clients and just letting them know like, hey, this is what it is. That's a mistake you do not want to make. You want to fix that and correct it early on. The next point I want to talk about is being aware of the poacher filmmakers, or in other words, the filmmakers that go to filmmaker meetups, that go out there and network and build relationships, but they skip the relationship part and just focus on the networking part. And I feel like that's a big issue in the film industry. People always hear you got to go out there and network, you got to go out there and build connections. Absolutely, 100%. But part of networking is building relationships. And I feel like a lot of freelancers, they forget the building relationship part and just only focus on networking and only focus on what it is that they can get out of other people rather than building a long-term relationship with other people. I have met filmmakers that I knew off bat when I first met them. They literally just wanted to network with me just to get a job. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get a job from somebody and trying to have somebody help you out, but it's how you go about it. And I feel like a lot of filmmakers are going wrong about it, really not building that relationship. If I'm going to be contracting you, if I'm going to be working with you, I want to somewhat like you. You know, I don't want to just be working with you just because it's a job. Like, I want to genuinely have a connection with you. I want to go on this job, film this job, and then afterwards we can go hang out, go grab some food, go talk, and don't just talk about cameras. I feel like building a raw, authentic relationship with somebody is more than just talking about cameras. We could talk about cameras, that's fine. We could talk about anything camera, that's perfectly fine. But if we're gonna have that real relationship, I want to go deeper with you rather than just cameras. Let's talk about what you do outside of filmmaking. Those are the type of people that I love to work with and I want to be around. And I got contracted by different production companies on jobs while I'm filming for events, and the first thing that these people are asking me is just what I do outside of filmmaking. And conversations like that I love, because it's not just someone who's just talking to me about cameras and then they're gonna slip in what they offer and then try to tell me what they offer, give me their number, and hopefully I contact them for a different job. So that's just a big issue that I see. People again are just forgetting the relationships and just focusing on the networking. But who knows? That's just my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think about that. I know some people have previously commented in my videos before that they hate filmmaker meetups because of that reason. Everyone just wants to get something out of you and no one really wants to truly get to know you, I guess. Moving on to my last point, and it's going to be a lot of filmmakers are simply just not taking action. I cannot tell you how many times where I have met freelancers, spoken with freelancers, they ask me for advice, they ask me for my opinion, I give it to them, they say okay, and they do nothing about it. That's the biggest issue in this industry. If you want to succeed, if you want to go far, you have to take action. If someone who has years plus of experience is going to tell you something that is going to help better you, you need to take action on what it is that they are telling you, because obviously they have the years of experience and obviously they may know something that you don't know. They probably can see something about your career that you're not seeing. And if they're willing to give you that advice and share with you tips to help you grow, then you should take action on it. The ones that succeed are the ones who always take action. The ones who fall behind and go on YouTube all day and complain in the comment section how they want to start filmmaking but they're too scared, or they don't have the right resources, or they don't know how to network, or they don't know how to do this and that. Those are the people who are going to be in the same spot for the rest of their life if they do not go out there and take action. Your first film, your first corporate interview, your first wedding, whatever it is, it's going to suck. It's going to look really, really bad. But who cares? Go out there and take action. And the people around you, the people who you are working for, being contracted for, they are going to see someone with integrity that is going out there and taking action. If you're wanting to start filmmaking, but you're too scared because you feel like you don't know a lot, so what? There's DPs out there with 15 plus years of experience who still don't know everything. So that's not an excuse. Receiving information, executing on the action, and making it happen, that is what's going to push your career. Not sitting down, meeting someone at a coffee shop and just saying, hey, I do weddings, please hire me. That is not going to bring you anything. Go out there, execute, and take action. And taking action can look like a bunch of various different things. It can be finding a mentor. It can be going out there and creating a spec project. It can be go out there and creating a fake interview to use it for your portfolio to try to get a real interview. Whatever it may be, as long as you go out there and do some sort of physical action, you're going to draw in the audience that you are looking for, without a doubt. All right, well, that's pretty much it for today's video. Those are some of the reasons why I see filmmakers failing over and over again. I hope this video did bring you value. If it did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Without further talking, I'm going to see you in the next video. I'll be on to Bonjourne.